episode of the CineMatch podcast, a show where we take different movies every episode and debate and rate them. It's been a while, as you can tell. We haven't watched or changed clothes, you scruffy bastards, and we're definitely not recording this immediately after the first episode. But as it's New Year's, we've looked at the movies we watched for the first time in 2023, and we decided to list our top 10. And now we're looking at the actual movies that came out this year that we enjoyed the most, and we've got our own top 10s of the best movies to come out of 2023. Full disclaimer right off the bat, we haven't seen everything, so there's some big movies, and there's some movies that I've heard are great that I do want to watch, which I'll look back on and think should have been on my list, but I just haven't watched them yet. So
I haven't watched Killers of the Flower Moon. Everybody's going on about Saltburn. Not watched that.
No, I haven't. Thing is, for me, any movie that came out in the last couple of months, I haven't seen because I've been busy watching horror movies and Christmas films. So I missed out on a lot. I'll tell you right off the bat.
Because you said, I don't want to do, because we said, we could record this one last week. He was like, I don't want to do it yet because I want to fit some more films in. And did you?
Not one. Well, actually, Aquaman 2. I watched Aquaman 2.
Fucking hell. And did it make your list?
Absolutely not. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was fine.
Is it a fitting end to the DCEU?
I mean, all a bag of shit in it towards the end. They just lost the plot. But I don't think it was the worst film in the DCEU. I don't think it was. Some people say it's terrible, but I don't think it is. I think it's a solid 3 stars. But
what's the worst film in the DCEU? Okay.
Maybe Wonder Woman 84.
That's bad, but it's not Flash bad, is it?
Give it a rest. That's not that bad. Wonder Woman 84 is the worst. Probably maybe the first Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, that's pretty bad to be fair. Still not Flash bad, but I was gonna say that number 1 is Flash, and then be like, fuck it.
Flash isn't on my list. Spoilers alert, Flash isn't on my list. But before we get into that shite, we should probably introduce ourselves again. Because, like I said, we're definitely not recording this straight after the last episode. But my name is Carl. I am one of your hosts, and joining me as he does every episode is Mr. Nathan Sackle Hanna.
I got it right this time.
I know. I went 0-2 in the last 2 episodes. Now I think I had to sort this out. Mr.
I've changed my initials on my camera so you can fucking be reminded, and you still fucking forget.
Yeah, well, look, mine says my full name. Maybe you have to put your full name in that, mile. I don't know. I don't notice that shit. How are you since we last spoke?
Since we last spoke, a bit more tired.
Lots happened.
I've got a cat that's just going crazy outside this fucking door. I literally had to just chuck it downstairs and give it some treat. Because if she doesn't get attention, she will literally run and jump at the door.
You know, sounds like Eleanor.
Oh,
good. This should be the last episode I ever do now because I might get my ass whooped. But yeah, we literally, like I said, we're recording these back to back, so not much has changed in the last year how things were. You had a nice Christmas, busy.
Yeah, be right. Oh, did you have a nice New Year? Let's pretend like we've recorded and we're done.
New Year's Day, innit?
Yeah, did you have a good? What did you do? Go to bed watch some films, then fall asleep.
I had a wild New Year's. Yeah, New Year's Day. I'm actually working at 8 a.m. So my New Year's Eve.
New Year's Day is a day off. I can't wait. Fuck all.
Yeah, it's going to be a steady one for me. But we might as well get straight into it then, because, like I say, we've done all the cordial welcomings and pretending we care about what we've both been up to. We've done all that chat already once today, so we might as well just stop beating around the bush and get into it. Top 10 movies of 2023.
Some good films this year.
Yeah, I mean...
yeah.
Do you think, because last year there was some really good fucking films, do you think this, because obviously since the pandemic, it's been slowly coming back, do you think this year's better than last year, or do you think it's taken a step back?
I do think this year's better than last year. I think probably not as many that I've been looking forward to, but more that it's taken me by surprise by how much I've liked them. Yeah. If that makes sense. There's not, in terms of releases, there's been ones that I've been looking forward to that really shit the bed, and I just didn't like. But everything I watched more things this year that I wouldn't have usually watched, and a lot more that I liked. So I do think in terms of films, yeah, definitely better. but I think we're missing out on a few like Ghostbusters and Dune that would have been this year due to strikes and stuff, which is a shame. But yeah, and I think it's been a good year. Other than strikes and stuff, I think it's been a good year for films.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff. There's obviously some big ones we've missed. So as we're about to name our top 10, we might as well say the ones like that I know I'll probably look back on and kick myself for not having them on. And that's things like Past Lives, which I've been wanting to watch since it came out earlier this year. And I actually started yesterday. I planned on watching it for this, and I was that tired because I was working 8 till 4 yesterday. I've started at 8 like 4 days in a row. So me and early mornings don't mix well anyway. So I was struggling, and I started watching it last night, and I was like drifting off. So I paused it and went to get back to it, and I haven't yet. But I liked the first half an hour from what I saw, but I physically couldn't stay away. So. And I know that's going to be one that I'm going to look back and think, fuck's sake, that should be on my list. But it's not because I haven't seen it. I don't know whether Napoleon will be, but I've not watched Napoleon. Not watched that. I haven't watched Saltburn. I haven't watched Anatomy of a Fall, which a lot of people are saying is.
Oh, yeah, that's basically good. I've not watched that.
Haven't watched any of the recent blockbusters. So I haven't seen the new Hunger Games. I haven't seen Wonka. I haven't seen the Marvels. I haven't seen any of them. Essentially anything that came out in the last few months, I just haven't seen.
I've seen all 3 of those. None of them made the list.
No, so I didn't miss much.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, I think I like to think I've watched most of the good stuff this year, so I think my list will be good anyway.
I think the biggest thing that I really, really wanted to go watch and missed was Killers of the Flower Moon. That's really the only one that I feel like I've missed this year.
I certainly watched that.
I saw Flash, so that's fine.
Yeah, you've seen your number one.
Yeah.
What a film that is. What a fucking film.
Oh, God.
We might as well get straight into it then. I'll go first this time because you kicked things off in the last episode, so we'll switch it around now.
Before we start, how many did all of your films release in cinema, or have you got any streaming exclusive films on there? Just out of interest.
So technically, one is an absolute streaming one.
Right.
One had a very brief cinema showing before it went streaming. One I didn't watch in the cinema, but I think it was shown in select cinemas. I don't think it was in every cinema because it wasn't that big a film.
Yeah.
But my number 10.
Yeah, go start.
Sorry, first of all, that was very rude of me. Have you got many streaming ones?
Every single one of my films, even in my honorable mentions that I'm going to say before number 1, had a cinema release.
Yeah, okay. I haven't even done honorable mentions for this one, but I can probably just come up with some off the top of my head. My number 10 is it's very different to any other movie on this list, and that is a very, very gory horror movie. Some of my favorite type of movies, and it's Evil Dead Rise, because I enjoy more than just disgusting, violent, just grotesque body horror. Like the Evil Dead franchise obviously did it a lot back in the day, but because of the special effects back then, it was played for it's aged more like now.
Yeah,
it's played for laughs, and you watch it now, and it's easy to not take it too seriously, which they clearly recognize with the second and third movies in the installment. And those movies went a lot more camp and played up to it, whereas in the 2013 one, which I haven't seen, I know that went very gory and went down a much more serious road, and this one certainly did the exact same. But it switched things up with Evil Dead Rise. It's not in the cabin in the woods anymore. It's in like a block of flats during like a storm where there's like a blackout and they're stuck in the apartment. And the mum is possessed by some demon after her children open this book and do all the dodgy shit that all the main characters do at the start of each one. And it's just disgusting. Like, we see people eating glass, we see people getting cheese grated to their legs. Everything in this movie, and it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not a film I imagine Eleanor will ever watch, but it's just one you can sit back and have a good fucking time. And there's a lot of movies that I really like, but they're not the sort of movies that are rewatchable, if that makes sense. It's not like I can watch a movie and think that was brilliant, but I'm not going to watch it 10 times in the next couple of years. Whereas this, I could watch this every week. Like, it's just fucking fun.
It is good. The only thing that stops it from being on my list is that I was really kind of hoping for some continuation for the 2013 or some kind of tie into the originals, and they just kind of again just ignored the others and did their own thing. but it is a fucking great movie. I don't like it as much as it's probably my least favorite of the Evil Deads if we don't include the first one, because I never do, because the first one and the second one just remake. But it's probably my least favorite. But that's like saying, you know, Return of the Jedi is my least favorite of the original trilogy. Like, I still fucking love it, but it's just not as up there as the others are. 2013 is fucking brilliant though. I was hoping we'd get a little bit more continuation from that, but I did love Evil Dead Rise, and the bit with the cheese grater.
Yeah, for me, I've seen a couple of films recently where they've done it, and it's always cringed me out when they eat glass.
Yeah,
that shit fucking freaks me out, and I don't know why, because it's just horrific. Like,
well,
just
do you know
even
why it
think,
creeps you out? It's because you know it's going to be fucking painful.
yeah. But like, I know cheese grater's leg gonna be painful, but it doesn't get me as much as glass in the mouth.
No,
Like,
nothing I hate more in horror movies or action movies, and I'm going to put my legs up, is when they cut there, right there.
oh yeah, the Achilles.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I could have just described it rather than put my leg up.
they show me your gammy toes. Have you
No.
ever seen Hostel? Because they do it in Hostel. They snip the back, and I used to have this thing when I was younger.
You're not selling it to me.
I had this thing when I was younger called Achilles tendonitis, and it was where the back of my Achilles, if I did any form of exercise, like, it would just really, really ache, and it was like a really dull pain, and I had to put cream on it for like a couple of months, and that was painful enough. I ain't having them snipped, no chance, no fucking chance. But yeah, Evil Dead Rise, it's a great film, very rewatchable. So I'm kicking off my list with a very gory but fun horror movie.
My number 10 is quite a recent one. It's
First of all, before you say it, how many films do you think we're going to have that the same? Do you think there's going to be much crossover?
I think. Oh, I can't
guess a number. I'll guess a number as well.
I can't remember how many you watched.
I'm going to guess 3.
Ooh,
I'm guessing 4.
4?
Yeah, I reckon we might have 4 that the same.
I can't remember if you watched that one. I'm going to guess 4 as well.
Let's see if we're right.
Potentially 5. See if we're right. We both got the same number. But yeah, my number 10 is a pretty recent one. It's a sci-fi movie about AI called The Creator.
See, I never got around to watching that.
Gareth Edwards, and I love him as a director anyway. He's the director of Rogue One and the Godzilla movie. It's just a really fucking good film. It's about AI and how, like, they get their own consciousness, and they kind of then start to become hated, and they're hunted and all that kind of stuff. And there's an attack. They drop a nuclear bomb, and these kind of it's the repercussions of all of that. But it's another kind of really heartwarming story of like a neo-futuristic look at Earth with, you know, it's another one of those, you know, robots taking over versus humans and all that kind of stuff. But it plays it really weirdly, where a lot of the robots just, they don't want to fight, they want to live in peace. And they like set up religions, and they've got like their own countries, and they have like the discussions of soul and all that kind of stuff. And then there's this kid who can do something that I'm not going to spoil, but it's visually a beautiful film. There's the design of the mechs, the design of the robots, the design of the human-looking robots, the cities that they're in, the action. It's all designed and choreographed really, really beautifully. It comes together in this like really positive ending. There's also again a downbeat positive ending. I'm starting to get a theme from the last episode of what kind of films I like. Films that make me feel like shit but also make me feel good about my life. But it's such a good movie, and I like any kind of sci-fi movie that kind of plays on those futuristic designs and gives a new twist. And there's some really good stuff in there, so I would fully recommend watching that, especially if you're a sci-fi fan as well. Really good.
I'm definitely wanting to watch it. I wanted to watch it now, just didn't find the time. And you can tell it is Gareth Evans that does it, because even on the poster, what caught my eye is how similarly I thought it looked to Star Wars. Like the design and stuff, that was what caught my eye the first time, because I didn't really know what it was, and that's what I first noticed.
And the fact that it kind of came out around the time of like AI discussions in Hollywood and stuff like that, like really perfectly timed. So yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, I'll definitely give that a watch. You've sold it to me. I mean, I was going to watch it anyway, but we'll see. You've sold it to me. So my number 9 is one that I didn't think would be on here. I didn't going into the year. I didn't think it wasn't one of the ones I was most excited for, and I think a large part of that is down to superhero fatigue.
Yeah,
And I'd been disappointed by a couple in the build-up, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was fucking awesome. I mean, I'd watched the first two when they came out, but they weren't ones I really rewatched. And then I watched the Christmas special last year, and I loved it like a lot. I rewatched it this year, but when it came to Guardians 3, I rewatched the trilogy, the first two, sorry, with Eleanor. It was the first time she'd seen them, and rewatching them after everything else, it was like I got a newfound appreciation for the characters and the way James Gunn, like the way he tells the story with those characters and the way he makes even the smallest, most insignificant comic book characters mean something to you. And the work he did with those characters throughout the entire franchise is just incredible. And it was the perfect, like the way he ended that story was incredible. Even starting it off with Adam Warlock's like awesome entrance when he first burst through and he starts kicking ass, I thought that was fantastic. The villain was the best out of the 3 Guardians villains, I thought. Rocket's backstory was really well done. My only issue is no one died. They hinted a lot. There were different moments where it's like, is he gonna die? Is he gonna die? Is he gonna die? I was like, just fucking get rid of one of them at least, Jesus. But outside of that, I think the endings that they gave the characters were all well done. I love the way Drax's story concluded. I love Mantis anyway.
yeah.
It's weird, but I'm kind of attracted to that alien. I don't know what's going on. But like the whole I don't know if it's my favorite Guardians film. It might be, and I think it once again uses music so fucking effectively.
Yeah, Dog Days Are Overseen.
It's incredible.
It lives in my heart, and this is a film that I'm going to speak about later, so I don't want to talk about too much. So that's the first one that we've got.
Is it?
But like at first, when I first came out of it, I agreed with you and was like, somebody should have died. But after rewatching it a few times, I was like, no, it's perfect as is. Like if any of them died, it would have felt like a cheap and easy way to do it. The fact that you managed to get the same amount of emotional response through keeping everybody alive was brilliant, I think, and gives me hope for I think this film more than anything gives me hope for Superman Legacy.
Oh, I can't even talk to you about Superman Legacy. You know as well as anyone how much Superman fucking means to me. Like, I am so excited for Superman Legacy. I've got such high hopes, and it's because James Gunn has done it. If he can do such a good job with characters I wasn't even aware of and make me care so much, I can't wait to see what he can do with the likes of Jimmy Olsen and Clark. Like, oh fuck, I can't wait. And also, before I finish talking about it, you'll probably mention it in your own, but that fight scene that they do in the corridor with everyone getting involved, it's so fucking well done. So yeah, I think it was an important movie as well because, like I said, superhero fatigue was a real thing.
Yeah, definitely.
In 2022, I can't even remember. I mean, Love and Thunder fucking straight up sucked. Ant-Man in the early 23, I really didn't like.
Other than MODOK, the best character ever to grace that screen.
That guy, fucking all. But yeah, I'd really grown tired of it. Even the DC side with Shazam and before that Black Adam, like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know. I think I needed Guardians 3 to come out when it did because otherwise I think I was close to packing it in altogether until Superman, obviously. I'm still waiting for that. But yeah, I think it came out at the perfect time for me personally. Like after the run of shite that we had, and it only helps enforce that belief that I think DC's in very good hands now. It's sad that the DCU ended the way it did, but I think there's a silver lining in the fact that James Gunn has shown he's incredible at handling these sorts of characters. So yeah, Guardians 3, what a perfect way for him to end his time with the MCU.
Yeah, agreed. And I'll talk a bit about it more later on. My number 9, is Darren Aronofsky. I can't remember if it is who directed it, to be honest. I'm fucking terrible at my memory is. But The Whale.
That didn't come out this year.
I'm sure it came out this year.
Did it?
Very beginning of this year. I think in the UK it came out at the beginning of this year. Don't make me doubt myself.
No, don't say that.
Oh, because now I have to pick another number 9. Well, then I'll have to move Creator down to number 9 and put something at number 10. Don't fucking do this to me. I'm pretty sure it came out this year. Oh, fuck, maybe it came out last year. Did I just watch it this year? UK release. 3rd of February 2023. Fuck you.
I definitely watched that on some illegal streaming site then, because I watched it earlier. I thought it was 2022, which is why it's not on my list. I fucked up. That would be on my list, but it's not.
No, that was it. When I said 4 or 5, and I didn't know if you would have watched it. That was the one.
Oh, I've watched it. I fucking loved it. Brendan Fraser means so much to me. Largely because of Scrubs, but
yeah, well, obviously, in The Mummy. A fucking beautiful film. Messaging it perfect. The cast, it's like 4 or 5 members of the cast, and every single one of them is perfect in it. It took until the very end of the movie to realize the young lad is the kid from Iron Man 3. I didn't realize the entire way through. Just another heartbreaking film with a positive message at the end. And just a fucking glutton for punishment, me. But that's one where it was like, I need to watch. This isn't my usual kind of movie, but I need to watch it because obviously everybody's talking about Brendan Fraser and his comeback. And yeah, 100% worth watching. It's so hard to watch at times. It's not gross in how he's depicted, but it kind of is. They kind of play
like the binge eating and stuff.
Yeah, like you're kind of supposed to feel sorry for him, but they also want you to feel grossed out by him. But then they also kind of make you want to feel bad for feeling grossed out by him. It's such a well filmed movie, and the fact that it's all in one location, the ending, even though it's a little weird, like it makes full sense. It's Sadie Sink, brilliant. Like obviously coming out of Stranger Things and going into this, like what a fucking role to jump into. Definitely throwing her out there even more. But yeah, it's Brendan Fraser's movie, and he is just probably one of the better performances of the entire year alone. But yeah, what a great movie. And I imagine you'd be having similar things to say if you realized that you were in a fucking pirate.
Do you know the thing is, I didn't put Fableman or Babylon on this list either, because they both came out in 2023 in the UK, and because of that, I didn't put them on. I missed some good ones out here. Oh wait, no, that was why I missed them off the last one.
Yeah,
but I could have put them on this one now. Thinking about it,
you could have put them on this one, yeah.
Fuck. That's right. So the reason I left them off the last one is because you're going
to be doing some live changing of your scores.
The reason I didn't put them on the last one is because they came out in 2023, technically here. And the reason I haven't put them on this one is because I thought because they came out. Fuck's sake. Well, I really like The Whale as well. Even the trailer before I watched it made me tear up, and that goes to show how much of an emotional wreck I am, but also how moving that movie was, and the entire narrative around Brendan Fraser and his comeback and the incredible performance he gives. It was a must watch for me, and it lived up to the expectations, and he was incredible, and I'm so happy he won the Oscar for it. But yeah, I thought it came out last year. That's an honourable mention for me then was The Whale, which I'll just Now, my number 8 is a documentary, which also had me in tears. It's the first technically movie review I ever did. And I did it for Agents of Fandom, and that is the Michael J. Fox story documentary released on Apple earlier this year. Because, like I said, Back to the Future is my favorite film, and Michael J. Fox as a person and Marty McFly as a character just means so much to me. And his battle with Parkinson's, it's something that's been so well documented over the years, like in interviews and stuff. You always see clips of how he's struggling with it. And I think for Christmas last year, I got a book from I think my sister, and it was like an autobiography about him. And just like his daily life dealing with it and like the exercises he has to go through and the therapy and stuff. And I read that and it was brilliant timing because I read that and then a couple of months later they announced this documentary. And I mean, I'd have watched it anyway, but because I'd got this insight beforehand and I knew a bit of what to expect, it made me so much more interested. And the way the documentary is told and the different clips we see from certain parts of his career, and the reenactments of certain stuff using like obviously like body doubles to replace him, interspersed with like him talking about his experiences and even seeing like clips of him going through the exercise with his legs and like there's a clip where he's walking down the street with his like I can't remember what they're called, like his physiotherapist, and he's doing the walk, and a random like civilian notices it's Michael J. Fox, so she shouts like, "Oh, Michael J. Fox!" And as he looks to see her, it's like that one moment of losing concentration. It called like he has to be 100% focused on moving his feet, and the minute he looks to see what it is, he collapses because he's like he loses that concentration. It's so like it's such a tragic story, but the way they tell it and the way you see that the way he overcomes these things and the way he remains positive despite all of his setbacks. I mean, even if he wasn't an actor that I had such a deep like affection for, I think it still would have been a really moving documentary for me. But because of who it was and because of how much he means to me, I was in bits for like 90% of it. Like I was such an emotional wreck watching it. But I love it so much and it's something that I will revisit a lot, I think. But yeah, that was straight to Apple, so that wasn't.
Yeah, we've only just got Apple TV. We got it because I wanted to watch the Godzilla TV show and then watch one episode of that and watch the entirety of Ted Lasso instead. But I keep getting like that has been recommended to me instead as well. So that's on the watch list because you said before it's good, but definitely want to give that one a watch.
Yeah, I thought it's wonderful. So yeah, I had to get it on there. It is a documentary though, which isn't the sort of movies I usually watch. So that's probably why it's not higher. But I did really enjoy it still, so I've squeezed it on there at number 8.
Nice. My number 8 is an anime, one of 3 animated films on this list. But this one's the only anime, and it's a film called Suzume, and it's a Makoto Shinkai movie, which is I know you're not a big anime guy, so
Dragon Ball Z is probably about as far as I went.
It's well, for anybody who does know, is he did Your Name and Weathering with You, which is 2 absolutely stunningly beautiful movies that do nothing but break your heart. They are fucking brilliant. So he had a new one released this year. It's about a girl who meets someone who these disasters going around Tokyo and in Japan in general, and these mysterious, it's very Japanese, very anime, these mysterious stores that she falls into and helps try and avoid like these catastrophes and colossal like tornadoes and earthquakes and all this kind of stuff. And it's all very mystical mixed with the like the kind of beauty of Japan and the imagery of Japan. And there's a bit where the guy she meets gets turned into a walking talking chair, and that's a big plot point in the movie. It sounds really weird, but once you watch it, it all comes together in a really beautiful way. But it is, I do like a lot of anime, specifically these kind of movies that are a bit different rather than the Dragon Ball. I mean, I do like Dragon Ball Z, but that kind of stuff. But it is, the Shinkai movies are always beautiful. They always spend a lot of time on like scenery, landscapes, streets, and just the aesthetic of it all, and they are beautiful. But this one is by far the most pleasing to look at. The animation is so fucking smooth. I don't get how they can do it so smooth, and how they can get things to just look as magical as like even something like a bowl of noodles or just a street with a car and it just look magical, and it just does. But it's just a beautiful movie, and I recommend anybody who likes anime to watch it, because it's another one that breaks your heart, but just really joyous to watch the entire way through. Even when like the world's crumbling, it's just really joyous to watch the entire way through. So that's Suzume.
Sounds good.
You're like, great anime, whatever.
No, I don't have an issue with anime. I've been meaning to watch the older ones, like, is it My Neighbor Totoro?
Yeah, the Studio Ghibli ones.
Are they classed as anime?
Yeah.
Is there the Red Turtle anime?
Yeah.
I've watched that. I need to watch that for college. That was fine. But like my anime experience is Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh GX, Pokemon, all the good stuff. But I do want to watch more because, like I said, I'm watching more films now, and I don't want to just limit myself to a certain area. Like I like
Yeah.
to just watch everything I can. So
I think
anime is something I am wanting to watch.
I think when you say anime to people that don't watch anime, they assume like Dragon Ball Z and people screaming for 2-3 episodes and then finally shooting one attack that misses and stuff like that. But there's so much
Goku loved doing that shit against Big Freezer.
There's so much good, especially like old anime that's just really good. Like obviously Akira is the big one. Ghost in the Shell is another big one that I absolutely adore. Perfect Blue, but the Hayao Miyazaki ones or the Studio Ghibli ones, but Shinkai ones is so like down to earth with a mystical element every single time. Your Name is probably one of my favorite films of all time, favorite animes of all time. That's a great movie. So I give that a watch as well. And this is Suzume's one of his films as well, and they're all kind of tangentially connected as well. So yeah, I'd give it a watch. I'll give you some good recommendations if you want to get into anime. I won't give you the shit.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you want sick fights and then watch Dragon Ball Z Broly.
I've seen that. I've seen all the Dragon Ball Z stuff. I watched Resurrection F. I'll watch them all. I used to love that shit. Dragon Ball Z was my jam for a long time. There's one. I mean, I've not seen it, but I remember someone I used to work with who left the cinema before I did. He told me about one because there's a certain song that was on the playlist at work, and he said it's the one where
That's Your Name, yeah.
The one where is it the two people who swap places or bodies or something?
Yeah.
He explained that one, and that sounded like worth watching.
That's Your Name, and that's the one that's probably one of my favorite films of all time. And to be fair, if it's the person I'm thinking of, I hate myself. But it is one of my favorite films of all time. And there's a moment in it that I've watched that film 3 times now, and we're watching it again in the new year because we're going to watch the trilogy because when this one comes out on Blu-ray. And every time I've watched that one, there's a moment in it, and I just fucking, I'm gone. I'm fucking joking up thinking about it.
You're gonna mock me for fucking A Star Is Born, and here you are,
crying over some cartoons.
Yeah. Soon change your tone now. But no, I do want to watch more, but as you can imagine, there were none on my list. My number 7 is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, which I fucking loved. I said it in the last episode. This year was the year I really got into all the Mission Impossible movies because I'd never watched a single one, and I started the very first one I watched in January, and I went on. I didn't watch them all at once. It was a steady. I brought them up like throughout the months until Dead Reckoning came out, and Ghost Protocol was the one that I really, really enjoyed. But I think the entire franchise, apart from maybe 2, which was a bit disappointing, is just incredible.
Whoa.
Come on now, 2 is rough. 2 is rough.
It is rough, but it's got a certain charm to it.
Yeah, the thing is, I think the addition of people like Rebecca Ferguson later on really, really helps the franchise. Same with Simon Pegg, who was also back in Dead Reckoning. You've got
Atwell.
Yeah, Hayley Atwell's in it. She's great in it as well. She's really fucking good. Is it? Oh shit! How do you pronounce her name? The woman that plays Mantis.
Pom Clemente.
That's the one. Oh my god! I was crying just watching her on the screen. I was in love. She's incredible. The entire cast in that movie is incredible. I think they all do a really good job. Even the villain, I can't remember his first name. In real life, I think his last name is Morales because he played Deathstroke in the Titans TV show, and I can't remember his name now. But he plays the villain, and he was really good. The stunts, it's again taking things up a notch with the motorbike off the cliff and the train sequences. The scene in Venice is incredible. Yeah. I knew what was coming, but I was still fucking like terrified. Like it was all so well done. It's probably not my favorite Mission Impossible movie. I think that's probably still Ghost Protocol, but it's crazy that we're on the 7th installment in a franchise and it's still this good. Yeah. Like usually when it's a story like this and it's the same main character all the way through, usually you're beating a dead horse by the time you get to like a 7th, but this shit is still fucking awesome and I'm really excited for part 2, which they fucking did us dirty because originally it was supposed to come out like this next year, but they've pushed it back, I think now. So
because the strikes.
yeah, but
what's impressive with this one is a lot of it was done through COVID and stuff. So
yeah, and like some like the stuff like with the technology that they're using, it feels very relevant to today. Where like
another
the
film
main threat was like the cyber like virus and the way that was used, and with AI and stuff, similarly to like you said, the creator, it feels like that is more relevant now than ever. So I think that came at the right time. And Tom Cruise is 60 years old and he looks younger than me. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I appreciate whatever it is he keeps doing. And I love seeing Ving Rhames show up again. He's great. He just like his role is like just decreased with each one because he's not kept himself in shape, so he doesn't get to do any of the cool stuff anyway. He just shows up and says a few lines, and then that's that. But I love him every time he shows up. So yeah, Mission Impossible 7 I really enjoyed, and I'm glad I got into the franchise. So that made my list.
Yeah, it's on my honorable mentions because I did really really love it, but after Fallout, I felt like it wasn't as up there, especially after Top Gun as well, because we had it was Fallout, the Top Gun, and then this. I felt like Top Gun was such a fucking high that I was so excited for it, and I think my own excitement kind of let the film down a bit, because I don't think anything can kind of Top Gun and Fallout for me in terms of those kind of. But it's still really, really the train, all that train sequence, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, and like you said a minute ago, Haley Atwell's an incredible addition to the
yes
cast. So
there's so many things I could say about Haley Atwell that I'm not going to.
that's me and my girl Pom. Fucking love her. But yeah, fucking Top Gun Maverick. Like, what the fuck happened there? Why was that so fucking good and successful? Like, because I don't think Dead Reckoning made much money at all. Like,
I think it was like the lowest taken Mission Impossible movie. I think
it's sad, but great film. Looking forward to the next one. So I had to get it on my list. Number 7. Quite fitting actually. Mission Impossible 7 was at number 7. Didn't realize that.
Hey,
second.
My number 7 is another Japanese movie that I watched a week or so ago. Oh, it's fucking Godzilla -1. What a fucking movie!
I've heard really good stuff about that.
It's the first Japanese Godzilla movie I've watched, which I don't know how I'm going to feel going back and watching the other ones now, but it's the first Japanese ones I've watched. Obviously, I really love the American-made ones with Gareth Edwards and onwards.
One with Matthew Broderick.
No, not that one. No, sorry. Yeah, the most recent ones, should I say? Not the Matthew Broderick one. No, I did love that as a kid, so I can't shit on it too much. And I have got a making of book for the original Godzilla movie, which is actually really fucking interesting because they had so much stuff that they just didn't do. But I digress. Godzilla -1 is a fucking brilliant movie. It's the only Godzilla movie that I've watched where I actually care about the humans and I want more time with the humans to understand their story. But let's be honest, when Godzilla comes in, like I said, he's a giant fucking lizard. He fucking beautiful. And when he comes in, his design's perfect. The scenes with him are perfect. The action, while it doesn't have the budget of the American movies or most movies, what it did with the money is spot on and it looks brilliant. The monster action is it's only Godzilla. There's no other monsters, but when he fucking kicks off, he kicks off. There's some right brutal scenes in it. That's not a proper comment then. They're right brutal. There's some right brutal scenes in it. When he does his atomic breath and shoots it out, that full pun intended blew me away. The ending made me shed a tear. How they handle Godzilla, it's a period piece, so it's set just after the war, so it's got like a really good message of it as well. The story throughout really just pulls at your heartstrings. Even the like bits with Godzilla, like the effects and how he kind of heals and stuff, really really well done. Opens itself up for a sequel, which I'm really looking forward to. But if anybody's a Godzilla fan or not a Godzilla fan and wants to jump in, I think -1 is 100% the best. Whereas the American films have kind of gone a bit more like, let's just have fun and let's have Godzilla running next to Kong with a mechanical arm and fucking beating the shit out of things and looking cool and just going all neon and shit. This one that is definitely a lot more down to earth and takes itself a lot more seriously, and it's fucking brilliant. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but it's a really good jumping in point for Japanese Godzilla.
Cool. I mean, I've not watched it, but I was thinking about watching it, so I might as well give it a try.
You sound so fucking disinterested. I could do a massive speech about how great it is. Like, cool, might watch it, whatever.
No, like I've never really been a big Godzilla guy, you know. I don't even think I've seen the actual Godzilla films. I think the only film of Godzilla I've seen, I saw the Matthew Broderick one as a kid because we had it on VHS, and then I saw the Godzilla versus Kong. I don't think I've seen any other Godzilla movie ever.
Did we not watch Godzilla earlier this year?
I went there.
Okay.
No, I've watched Godzilla versus Kong when that came out.
Yeah, we watched that. Yeah.
But that's it. I've never really been too big on him, but I've heard very, very good stuff about this new one. So it is something that I'm planning on watching at some point.
It's good. It feels, well, I don't know. I've been told it feels like a modern version of the old films rather than something modern, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's really, really good.
Yeah, cool. I mean, my favorite thing about Godzilla is watching a friend of ours review some of the most random Godzilla shit I've ever seen in my entire life, like Godzilla versus former NBA player Charles Barkley. So
we're starting off 2024 with a Dan shout out.
I don't think anything will live up to that. Godzilla versus Charles Barkley. But yeah, it does sound good, and it's something I am wanting to watch. My number 6 couldn't be more different than that. And that is the film Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Oh, okay.
Which is a coming-of-age story. Again, one of my favourite genres. Set in the 70s. It's based on a book by a woman whose name escapes me because I've never read it. It's something, I have to double check. It's something Bloom. Are you going to look?
Is it Judy Bloom?
It might be. Judy Bloom. That rings a bell. But it's about a girl who is forced and moved from her home to a suburban area with her mum and dad, and she has a close. Judy Bloom, is that the one? Yeah, I knew it was Bloom. I just couldn't remember the first name. But she's forced to move away from her grandmother, who she shares a really close bond with, and I think they live in the city at the beginning, and they end up in like this suburban area, and it's about how this girl adapts there and like gets used to her new surroundings. She gets a new group of friends. I think she's supposed to be like 10 or 11. And it's just about her like coming of age and like doing stuff that girls at that age did. Like they think they have like the first like periods and they go to the shop and they have to buy pads. And there's a scene where they're praying that the person working the cashier till is a woman, and then then it cuts to it. And it's this teenage boy just giving him the biggest dead eye as he's scanning it. It's brilliant, and the little girl in it is called Abby Ryder Fortson, and I don't think I've seen her in anything else. But for a child actress, she's fucking incredible. It's so well done, and the way the movie deals with like teenage crushes and trying to fit in with your friends, and even if that means compromising who you are and trying to fit in by changing and not staying true to yourself. But it also, what I think makes the movie so good for me is it juggles that alongside her mother's issues. Like the dad he's not like a bad dad or anything, but he's so busy with work, he's very rarely around. And it shows the mum struggling to adapt to this new area as well. And she's trying to take too much on. Like there's a scene when they go to like the school and they're running all these different societies and they're asking for volunteers to help. And she like ends up volunteering for so many different ones because she doesn't want to say no. And she's played by one of my biggest crushes of all time, who does a fantastic job. And that's Rachel McAdams, who I am in love with. Like that woman can do no wrong for me. She's incredible in it. The grandmother is played by Kathy Bates, I believe, and she's incredible. Just the entire cast is just unbelievable, and the movie's so heartwarming, and it's one I'd recommend to most people because even if it's not like your cup of tea, I think there's something there for everyone, and it's funny, it's emotional, it's moving. It really surprised me how much I enjoyed it because like you might be shocked to know this, but I have never been a teenage girl, so there's not much I can relate to with the main character. But even though a large part of the like story is about her dealing with things that young girls do, there is a sense of like familiarity with all children. Like the stuff isn't you like there are obviously there's moments where her and her friends are doing very certain dances while singing because they think it'll increase the size of their chest area. But there's all, like I said, the stuff with like teenage crushes and fitting in with people and changing who you are to do so. Like, it's a universal feeling for all children, and it really reminded me of being a kid because I moved quite a few times as a child. I think I moved schools 4 times. It was literally back and forth. I went from one place to the next, then back, then back. And having to just get used to different people every time, it's something that resonates with me. So it's a fucking brilliant movie. And Rachel McAdams, apologies to Eleanor in advance, Rachel McAdams is the love of my life. So that woman can do no wrong. So I love that film. I recommend it to anyone. It's on Amazon Prime. If you haven't watched it already, do so because it's sick.
I didn't expect that one.
It's great. I didn't expect it either, but it's one of those films I've watched, and it's one that I've thought like because I watched it maybe like April, but it's one I've thought about like a lot since, and it's something I want to rewatch. So comparing it to some of the films that are on this list, it is a surprising one because that's one that I don't know if it was in cinemas, and I think if it was, it was only in select because it wasn't big, but I watched it on streaming, and I'm so glad I did.
My number 6 is actually quite similar to yours, your number 6. And my number 6 is John Wick 4. Not in the slightest. And I don't know about you, but I've never experienced being Keanu Reeves. But what a fuck! Have you seen John Wick? Have you seen any of the John Wicks?
Not one.
Fucking, you are missing out.
Well, I've said this to you before, and Keanu Reeves isn't a big thing for me.
And I've said this to you before. I don't give a fuck. Watch John Wick. He only talks in him. It's just action.
Yeah, well, that trailer for the new one, he did speak, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening? Why is he looking like he's on drugs?"
He speaks very minimally in all films, and that's a conscious decision on his part. I know, especially for the last one, he speaks minimally because he wants to appeal to larger audiences. So he doesn't have as many words, so it can be watched around the world, and people can like be into it.
Subtitles are for fucking get a grip, John. Speak.
But I mean, I love the John Wick. All the John Wick movies are fucking great, and every single one of them ramps up the action. And this one is 100% pure adrenaline all the time, constantly. The action is the best it's been in all the series. It's frenetic. It's fast constantly. I don't think there's ever a 30-second gap where a gun's not been shot. It's I don't know how to talk about it without just coming because it's just fucking excellent. It's just
fucking hell, that took a turn.
It's the best action.
If I can get through talking about Rachel McAdams, then you can
no. Do you know what? John Wick is the love. The action is non-stop. There's a bit that takes place. It opens up in Egypt. There's a bit that takes place in Tokyo. The majority of it takes place in France. It's a fitting end, and it can easily continue if it wants to. And it's just every character is great in it. It's not like the best acting you're ever going to see. It's not like the deepest roles. I think it's Lance Reddick's final role as well, which was, I mean, he went out great. But the action is, I don't care about the performance. It's one of those films where I don't care if the performances are shit. I don't care if the story doesn't make sense. I don't care if the dialogue's a bit fucking iffy, which, I mean, I like all of those things in this film anyway, but it's the action, and the action is peak, to say what the kids say. It's peak. It's a fantastic movie. It's just brilliant. And the fact that you won't watch John Wick because you think you don't like Keanu Reeves is a tragedy, and you need to get a fucking watch now.
I never said I won't watch them. I haven't bothered.
Watch him, Cal. Just fucking watch him. And if there's anything that's going to tempt you into watching him, the spin-off for John Wick that's tied into the movies will star Ana de Armas. So
yeah, I've heard that. Nice looking lady, isn't she?
But no, brilliant movie, and it's just so fast paced. It's brilliant.
So you said you're not interested in the dialogue or anything, just the action. So I imagine Fast X will be next up on your list.
Fast X did not make my list. Didn't even make my honorable mentions. Other than Jason Momoa's character, the rest of that film is easily forgettable.
Yeah. No, see, the thing is, I like Keanu Reeves in Speed. I liked him in The Devil's Advocate. But even in like Point Blank, his character is like his acting's not the best.
Point Break.
But did I say Point Blank?
Point Blank.
Fuck's Point. Oh, that's a Alex Rider novel that I read years ago. Yeah, Point Break. He's and in like Bill and Ted, it feels like that fit because he was like a stoner, but it feels like he's had the same voice and everything since. It's like it's weird, but I mean, he seems like a lovely man. And I will probably watch John Wick at some point because I've heard so many good things about the action set pieces and stuff. So
I will watch John Wick with you.
Cool, and then I'll let you know my thoughts immediately. It's just almost not
like. I'll be sat there next to you like this, watching the screen.
It's almost not like a Princess Bride situation because fucking hell, that could turn ugly.
That shit.
Right. So my number 5 is almost similar. It's about a killer.
Oh, is it called The Killer?
And this is a film that is a Netflix movie, but they did show it in cinemas for a very limited time and only select cinemas. And I was lucky enough that I went to watch it in Nottingham at a cinema there, and getting to watch it on the big screen, I'm so glad I did because it's incredible. It's Michael Fassbender playing this like bounty hunter assassin type character who is usually so bang on at his job, and the way he approaches his like kills essentially so methodical, and he never puts the toe out of line. And this one time something goes wrong and he hits the wrong person, and it's like how he deals with the aftermath and the big fallout from it, and the way that like reverberates to his loved ones and dealing with that. And then he goes after certain people that have wronged him because of it, and it's just watching him essentially just like clean up his own mess, and he goes around and he sorts it out with all these different people. He's fucking incredible. I love his performance in that film. It feels so like subdued. He's not got much dialogue. Tilda Swinton's also in it, and she's incredible. I don't know why the David Fincher, the director, I can't believe I forgot his name from it then. He's one of my favorite directors. Like I love Seven and stuff like that. I've just realized in the last episode I said Ben Affleck directed Gone Girl, and he didn't. It was David Fincher. I've literally just realized that now.
I didn't clock on either. He was just in it.
Yeah, he was in it. He didn't direct it. David Fincher did. So yeah, I said that in the last episode. I've just remembered it was Fincher now. But like The Social Network, incredible. Yeah. Zodiac is insane. Like David Fincher has got some incredible movies, and this one, it's not quite up there with his best, but it's a really good movie that I really, really enjoyed. The fight sequences are so realistic in the sense that every punch feels like there's weight behind it. There's no insane martial arts. It's just like real gritty fighting. Like
there's none of that in John Wick. There's none of that not in the fourth one. The fourth one just goes, let's fuck it, let's just have fun.
The most choreographed shit you've ever seen.
The first one is fucking brutal though, and like realistically brutal. But sorry, continue.
All right, yeah, but that's what this is like. That there's a scene when he sneaks into this like big muscly man's house, and then the guy spears him from behind, and it's like the way they fight, and like it feels like there's actually some serious implications coming from the fight scenes. Like in a lot of movies, people fight and they just walk off like nothing's happened. Whereas this, you feel like each blow is going to fucking take something out of him, and it's just so well done, and like all the stunts are incredible. The violence is quite shocking actually. Like a lot of it you don't see coming, and it's really effective what Michael Fassbender's character does. And I said in my Letterboxd review, it's like Sheldon Cooper if he was like a fucking assassin, because that's what his character is. He's so like such a perfectionist, and people have said it's essentially like a piss take that David Fincher's playing on himself for like how obsessed he has been in the past with his movies, because the people have said he's really anal about stuff like that needs to be there, you need to do this, and it's like him almost mocking himself for that with this character, and how this guy can be such a perfectionist and things still go wrong. But it's an incredible movie and definitely worth watching, and it's on Netflix now, so I recommend that.
Yeah, that's one that if I'm like I want to watch it, I couldn't get to see it at the cinema. because you didn't invite me. And then
Hey, I weren't driving. That was all Bernie.
I've got a car.
Yeah, but Bernie drove.
I can still drive and meet whatever.
Bernie could pick you up.
That's fine. You want to be friends with me on here, but not outside of here. Go fuck yourself.
I went to watch Scarface dinner.
You what?
I went to watch Scarface dinner.
That's true. I was surprised you was seen out in public with me. But it was the weird that you had your hood up the entire time and won't speak to
him. Yeah, no, won't make eye contact.
Yeah, it's one of them that I've been trying to like. I'm gonna carve out time for it and watch it, but with it being as busy as we've both been, and I've been busy. It's just like when I've been wanting to watch films, I've been wanting to watch uplifting stuff that I don't need to use my brain for, and I know that I want to give that some attention. Maybe that'll be a New Year's Day film, I don't know, but I'm probably just going to rewatch all the John Wicks on New Year's Day now instead. So,
yeah, you should definitely watch it though.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah,
I really enjoy it. I recommend it to anyone. But yeah, that's my number 5. So we're in the top half now.
No, my number 5 is not a serious movie in the slightest, but it's Across the Spider-Verse. Which it being at number 5 is quite shocking because I love that movie.
That's the second match.
Okay.
First of all, can I just quickly say this is my number 4, so we might as well just discuss this together, because otherwise you're going to finish, then I'm going to go right in to talk about it again.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, not a hair wrong in this movie. It picks up from the last movie like really well. It introduces a lot. The fact they introduced it starts off with Gwen Stacy and her world rather than jumping straight into Miles is I think it's a really good move. Every character that's introduced is just spot on. Even if they're very different from the comics, I just love them all. Miguel, great. My favorite being Scarlet Spider. I love him so much. Just the fact that he embodies the dark broodiness of the 90s. The returning characters, Miles.
Scarlet Spider's Ben Reilly, right?
Yeah.
Played by, is it Andy Samberg?
Yeah. Who I just love in everything anyway. Just so much more Easter eggs, callbacks, all the different Spider-Men, like the blink and you'll miss it moments, the Lego Spider-Man moment, just having all of that. I have my issues with multiverse stories, which is why I'm getting a bit superhero fatigued, because I'm kind of tired of multiverse stories, and I don't like the way a lot of them do it, especially Marvel at the moment, where it's a lot of winking to the camera and bringing back old actors and winking to the camera even more. But
you liked the Flash though, didn't you?
Huh?
You like the Flash's way of doing it, didn't you?
And but Across the Spider-Verse just does it really, really well. He manages to have all of those wink and nods, but plays them for laughs and puts them as part of the story. But the thing that works for it is that it doesn't forget the main story. It doesn't forget the heart of the story. It doesn't do that to sacrifice. It doesn't sacrifice that to wink at the camera any time. It just continually builds and builds. And it's one of those films, you probably should have seen the ending coming. And on a second rewatch, you're like, oh, fuck, how did I not realize that? But it's so well done. And I'm so upset that we're probably going to have to wait longer for the sequel. But the art style's cranked up to a million. The Spot, a great, one of those villains that nobody cares about and is now going to be probably a big thing in Marvel forever now, because they just utilize him so well. I can't talk more about how much I love the Spider-Verse. The music, the action, the art style, the phoneticness of it all, just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, do you know what the thing is? I want to talk about the art in a minute, but that's interesting that you just mentioned it there, because so much focus is put on the animation style, and I don't think anywhere near enough focus is put on just how good the score is.
Yeah,
it's so fucking good, and I don't think people really respect that enough, because it's so effective. But in terms of the animation, I think it's a testament to how good the movie is that we watched the first one, we loved the first one, but this one came back and it was just as good. Because for me personally, there was a sense of, right, we've seen it now. Is the animation was different? Yeah, we appreciate that. But now that that trick's worn off, is it going to be as effective now that we've already seen this animation before? And they found a way to completely reinvent it and make it completely fresh again, and it's so good. Oscar Isaac's fucking fantastic.
Oh, always.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time he did something bad. Like Oscar Isaac is brilliant. I love him so much. He's like fantastic as Miguel. I love the entire cast really. Gwen Stacy's an incredible character. Obviously, you got Miles, who's fantastic. Peter, whose role wasn't as big in this one as I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
Because he was fantastic in the first one. I think he took a step back, but hopefully that's to set up him coming back in the next one. Now that he's back on Miles's side and they've all teamed up and stuff. But yeah, the ending I didn't see coming. But yeah, like you said, it does make sense. It's just a shame that that one was supposed to come out. The next one was supposed to come out in like 4 months now.
Yeah, and it's not.
4 months
Probably
now,
like
it's
another
not.
year or so now. I
Okay.
like with the art style. I like that each. Like obviously it's been talked to death, but like Gwen's world is very emotional. So the colors around her react to her moods, and like the Mumbattan, the Indian universe. It's just so like crammed and like hand drawn and like really like detailed but messy at the same time. And then you go to the Spider Society in the 2099 universe, and it's all that like pulp futuristic kind of how people thought the future would look in the 50s kind of thing, and all of them are beautiful. And then you go to like Miles's world, which we've seen, but then you go to the alternate Miles's world, and it's like the same, but fucking like as if it was fucking a RoboCop movie. It just looks like fucked up. Just everything they do, they just each character having a different style. Each character, like Spider Punk, the standout character of the movie. Oh, you can't see him on camera, but he's stood right there. The standout character of the movie, like just the fact that his animation changed every step, just it's just such a great movie.
Yeah, they've really like reinvigorated what animation can do. And I don't know if you've got it on your list. I imagine you do because it's your most watched movie, but no spoilers. But like you said, this sort of thing, it feels like it's a direct influence to what we've seen since with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't think they'd have been so brave and creative with that if we hadn't seen it already.
Oh yeah, 100%. They wouldn't have got
Spider-Man.
that. But it's like same with the Puss in Boots movie. Like they tried a different animation style with that, and like I think people are taking more risks now. They know that they can and get away with it. I mean, Disney tried it with Wish and it didn't quite work as well, trying to do something different. But I think people are being a bit more ballsy to do something that just strikes different visually rather than the usual DreamWorks.
Yeah,
Like,
because I don't know about you, but I'm fucking sick and tired of that 3D
yeah,
DreamWorks vibe. It was
yeah.
impressive at first, way back when, but fuck me, let's change it up.
Yeah, like even Disney, like Moana, Tangled, and Frozen all have the same style. Even to a degree, like Big Hero 6 and stuff, they all look the same. Let's mix it up a bit now. Let's do something different, and we can, and just let's keep doing that. And
Yeah, I'm a big proponent for bringing back 2D animation, like the
yeah,
hand-drawn style.
same.
So, yeah, I love Spider-Man. We've both spoken about it enough there because it was your number 5, my number 4.
Oh, so I get to speak. I get to talk again, do I?
Yeah, it's going to your number 4 now.
Well, that's fine because we've already pretty much talked about my number 4, which is Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really, really love that movie. It's the last superhero technical movie on my list, but it is the number one superhero movie of this year for me. Everything you've said and more. I really love what James Gunn did with Gamora, given that he didn't have control over what happened to her in the last two movies, and the ending that he gave her, like it wasn't an ending that he wanted to have, and he still managed to give it a like probably the best ending out of all the characters, and then Drax. And the Dog Days Are Overseen will never not get to me. I absolutely love it. The soundtrack again, beautiful. And like I said before, at first I was very much the same, like, oh, somebody needed to die. But the more I think about it, the more I watch it, I'm like, no, I'm perfectly happy with how this has ended. And having it be Rocket's story, and then kind of retroactively making the trilogy a Rocket trilogy rather than a Star-Lord trilogy, really, really works as well. It's a beautiful movie, beautiful designs, a nice message as well with all the animal testing stuff. The scenes of the past with Baby Rocket, I don't want to talk about because I don't want to die inside again. But yeah, the villain, the High Evolutionary, was a comic book villain. He was quite clearly evil. No redeeming factors. We got a classic villain finally that we weren't trying to make like, but he was a classic one-off villain that still just didn't feel like one and done. He really put his everything into that role, and just fucking beautiful. Really love to hate him. And nothing will hit harder than when Rocket lands and says, "My name's Rocket Raccoon," and fucking blasts him away. Brilliant. But yeah, brilliant movie. Not good. I can't say anything else what you haven't said. I absolutely loved it. So that's why it's my number 4. And I imagine number 3 and the top 3 is going to be quite close.
I imagine so.
It's similar.
Yeah. I think we know what some of these are going to be.
Actually, I think I know your top 3. I just don't know what order it's going to be in.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting. I think the top 3 is probably quite obvious.
For you.
Yeah. So number 3 is a surprise. Probably surprising where it's ended up. So my number 3 is actually Oppenheimer. Which
let's talk about that again because it's my number 3 as well.
That's good. So there's 3. We've got 3 matched, and I reckon we're going to get that 4th one. Yeah,
100% we're going to get the 4th one.
But yeah, Oppenheimer, what a fucking movie this was, man! Like, I had such high expectations going into it, and it somehow lived up to them all.
I was like, oh, I'm interested, but I'm not that fussed because I've kind of gone downhill on him since Interstellar and Tenet. Like, I'm not in Dark Knight Rises. I kind of lost a bit of faith in him, but this one really fucking brought it back.
Yeah, see, I've never been that big a Nolan guy. I didn't like Tenet at all.
No.
So I didn't go in because I was excited for Nolan. I went in because I was excited for all the marketing around it about like the big scene, like with the atom bomb and the performances and the stat cast. I was so excited for it all, and like Cillian Murphy in the lead, I expected big things from him, and he still managed to like surpass those for me. Like, he is exceptional as Oppenheimer, and I'll be really surprised if he doesn't win the Oscar for Best Actor like in March, I think it is. Like, he's incredible, but he's not the only one. Like, the entire cast, it's so deep. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is fucking awesome. Florence Pugh's great. Emily Blunt's great.
Say it. My boy, Matt Damon,
and my other boy Josh Hartnett. He's got a great role. He had a much bigger role than I expected. Yeah. Hartnett actually had a really like important part in it. You've got Rami Malek, who
Golden Aaron Wright.
Yeah. You've got is it David Crumb? What's his last name? Crumb. Oh fuck, I can't remember. He was in. Is it Crumholtz or something?
Oh yes,
guy from the Santa Claus who played Bernard.
I can't remember his last name.
That's all I've got for you. I'm gonna have to have a quick look, but he's fantastic in it as well. Just the entire cast is great, and I think it would have been easy for that to take shine away from the story, but Nolan does such a good job of it, and it feels like I said to you when we talked about this in the past. It feels like almost like a sports movie where. It was all gradually building to this one main event, and then it comes 2/3 into the movie. It doesn't come when you think it will, and
that's always the case.
Unless you're talking about fucking John Wick, apparently.
Oh no, yeah, we know when that's coming.
It's David Krumholtz. But yeah, when we get to it, and it's not as wild as I expected, but I think it actually works better that way. And just the aftermath and the way you see Oppenheimer dealing with his own realization of the damage he's caused. And
yeah, I think my favorite, like everybody who I've spoken to that didn't feel as hot on the movie as I did, said that it should have ended there, and that the last third of the movie like lost them. That's my favorite part of the movie,
and that's mine as well. And I think I've heard very similar criticism. People saying it was too long and the last third fell off a cliff, but I think that's the best part as well. The stuff in the court, I think, is brilliant.
Around that dinner table and in the court, and like in the when he's not being interrogated, but he is being interrogated. All that stuff. Like, for me, it's the ending with Emily Blunt that really is the payoff for me. I absolutely fucking love that bit. Like that is the yeah bitch moment. Like fucking get
when
him.
she turns it on its head like that, it's fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great, and even like the ending with Albert Einstein, it's so well done. The movie from top to bottom is just incredible.
And
Like
the
everything.
score.
Yeah, the score is insane. They're not special effects, but the way they do like
Yeah.
the bomb and stuff, it's all so well done, and it doesn't feel like as wild as most Nolan movies do, but it's still like considering the implications, it's fucking crazy.
I don't know. You say they don't feel wild, but that bit where he's where they're all in the is it the church and they're all like cheering and then
Oh yeah, the scene when he's
around,
imagining.
he's having yeah he's like having a panic attack or whatever and he's so I don't want to say too much because obviously I imagine most people have watched it, but it's such a yeah it's not a film because it's a biography. It's one that to say it's done as well as it. I know everybody else has spoken about it, saying it's done as well as it's done for what it is and what it went up against is just a massive achievement, and I can't wait to watch it again. But also, don't know if I want to watch it again because again, I watched it on a massive IMAX screen. I don't know if it's going to be the same at home, even if I do have a great, like pretty decent setup. It's I just don't think it's the same.
No, I agree. But the fact I've only watched it once is why my number two is my number two, and that's Barbie. Which is fucking crazy. Going into the year, if you'd have told me that I'd have had Barbie second in my entire list, it would be crazy. But I fucking love that movie. I think
so
it's
we're both talking about number two as well.
Is that your number two as well? Yeah. It's fucking awesome. We might as well say it off the bat. Barbie's great. Like the cast is all absolutely fantastic, and the story, which so many like idiots didn't quite grasp, and they thought it was like this sexist assault on men, where it was actually quite an uplifting message to men, and it was quite empowering to men as well as women. And the story of just like finding your place in the world and finding strength in yourself and that worth without latching onto others. I actually think it was really well told, and I can't for the life of me understand why there were so many people that didn't get it.
I can
Fucking
because a lot of people hate women. Let's just say it how it is.
misogynistic idiots.
I think with Barbie as well, like the cast, just like Oppenheimer, like you're never distracted by it. Like you have people like John Cena jump in and stuff like that, and like but you're never distracted by them too much. Where you kind of go, oh, I'm not like paying attention to the film. Like every time somebody like with Oppenheimer, cast members came in and they were like Rami Malek is a Oscar-winning actor who's been in massive things, obviously Freddie Mercury, and he comes in, he's in it for like a minute, if two, if that, and he goes, and there's like no massive fanfare or anything like that. They just come and go because they serve the story. Whereas Barbie, they kind of do that. They have the little wink at the camera, but they don't like. It's not like, oh, look who's here kind of thing. They're just all there, and nobody that they don't really play into it too much. But I mean, there are two members of cast that we're obviously going to spend a bit more time on, and that's Margot Robbie as Barbie, and I think he's
Michael Cera.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, three members of cast. I'm going to say the other one's me and the other one's you. We're all Ken.
Honestly, the whole cast, like Simi, is it Simi Liu? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
He's great. Ryan Gosling's great. America Ferrera's fantastic. Yeah. Like she's really good. The speech she gives to empower the women, I think, is so good. And like so many people hated on that, but I think it was brilliant. And it rings so true to what so many women go through. And the soundtrack's incredible. I think the Ken song is going to live on for a long time. Like it's fucking awesome. But even like the Dua Lipa song in the party scene is an absolute bop. It's so good.
We had to have that at our wedding. It was like this song's got to be at the wedding kind of thing. And also,
really good.
We played I'm Just Ken at the wedding as well. On the dance floor, me and my niece doing all the moves. Because she had
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Cera, obviously a massive standout in the film. Kate McKinnon as Weird Barbie. Love her. Love Kate McKinnon anyway. She's fucking hilarious. But every Barbie and every Ken, all of them, just brilliant. Rhea Perlman is the creator of Barbie at the end.
Fantastic.
Will Ferrell, who went full Will Ferrell for this movie.
Yeah.
It seemed a bit out of place for the real world, but just still worked. Obviously the Billie Eilish song.
The ending's really emotional.
Everything works, and I didn't expect to love it as much. I thought I was gonna enjoy it for sure, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. Like we've got the vinyl, we've got we got it on 4K. We just absolutely love it.
Yeah, I bought it for Ellen on DVD, and we literally watched it.
You don't have to pretend it's for Ellen. You don't have to pretend
it was for her birthday. She had it on the other night, and we were just watching it again, and like it's so funny, but also really moving at times. And like to go for the ending, which I won't spoil, but it's such an emotional ending. Like it's the music and the scenes and the way it unfolds. It's so like deeply moving, but then it ends with such a hilarious like one liner. Like I really like it. It's a film. I think this is why I've got it above Oppenheimer. I think is because this is so much more rewatchable, and I just know it's going to be a movie that I watch maybe 10 times more than Oppenheimer in my life because Oppenheimer is such a long movie and it was so well done on the big screen that I'm not in a rush to rewatch it on a smaller screen. Whereas Barbie plays well on anything, and because of that, it ranks above it.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. Like in terms of, there's only one film that I would rewatch and enjoyed a lot. Like just got more enjoyment out of this year. But Barbie is, I think it's special. I think it's just very, very special. The fact that you can do that with I know everybody's like, oh, but it's not special. It's not got a message. It's just another brand that you pay money into and all that kind of stuff. And like we spoke about in the, like when we did it, it's gonna, like we're probably gonna get like a Hot Wheels movie and a fucking Stretch Armstrong movie and a Rubik's Cube movie and all this kind of shit coming off of it. And they want to do a Barbie too, and nobody else wants to. They want to do a Ken spin-off. I don't think Ryan Gosling's up for it. I spoke to him on phone. He's not fussed.
He'd speak to you first before he made any sort of decision.
Yeah, well, he trusts my opinion. But like, I think it's just the fact that you could take a massive brand like Barbie, it could very easily have been turned into something very like cheap, but they really like went out of the way to make something really special. And I'm so glad that we didn't get Amy Schumer's version of a Barbie movie. Like,
it would have been a completely different thing.
Yeah,
Margot Robbie was tailor-made for that role.
Yeah. Perfect.
And I don't think there's many people on planet Earth that have ever looked better than Margot Robbie does in that movie.
Well, yeah, I can tell you one.
Me.
Ken.
Who?
Ken. Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling is in his roller skate outfit.
Yeah, but like, it's incredible. It's just a movie that I don't think I'll ever get tired of watching either. No. So yeah, if you'd have said to me at the start, even going into the Barbenheimer hype, if you'd have said I'd have ranked that above Oppenheimer, I don't think I'd have believed you. So there we go.
I'm gonna guess you're number one.
Well, first let me get some honorable mentions.
Get your honorable mentions in.
So honorable mentions. Have you seen the film Sick?
No.
So that was a film that came out at the start of the year, and it's a slasher movie written by the guy that wrote the first few Screams. Kevin Williamson.
I think
have I mentioned it to you?
Yeah, I think so.
Two girls in COVID that go stay in like a log cabin place, and intruders come, and the reason why is really like as it unravels, like as they're fending them off, is really well done. That's a fun movie. Scream 6, I really enjoyed, even though I thought the plot was very predictable. I did enjoy it, so I have to mention that. The Ben Affleck movie that I mentioned. The Ben Affleck and Matt Damon movie, that I mentioned, that Affleck directed, the one about Michael Jordan and Nike signing the shoe deal with him that eventually changed the course of like the company's entire future. That's got to be up there. I'm trying to think of different ones that I've watched now. My mind's just gone blank. Let me just double check what I had down on my letterbox because I can't remember shit right this second. So you can do you want to do some honorable mentions while I look?
Yeah, I got Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning on there. Fabelmans, because I remembered it came out in the UK this year.
Oh shit, yeah, Fabelmans and Babylon. Fucking love them both. Yeah, they'd both be on mine.
The Super Mario Brothers movie, really enjoyed that. That came out this year. But if I'm being honest, I only loved it for the Peaches song. There's a lot to love about that movie, but it didn't quite make the list. Indie this year. I really enjoyed, but I don't think it was as good as I wanted it to be. And then I told you about it when it came out. But there was a documentary called Welcome to the Darkness, which is about the band The Darkness, and it's probably the most I've laughed at a film all year. But yeah, it didn't quite compare to everything else on the list.
Yeah, other ones that I've got is Joyride, which was a comedy about, which was really funny, about the Asian woman going to find her birth parents and discovering her background and stuff. That was great. I really liked, surprisingly, the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, really good.
I did. I really liked that. I liked it's another documentary which I mean I couldn't have had two on, but I really liked the Wham documentary that Netflix did, because I used to really like Wham. A big fan of their music. So getting to see the insight into those guys during their time together. Obviously George Michael isn't with us, but Andrew Ridgeley still is. So just hearing about their time together and stuff, and the stories behind like the Christmas number, like when he wrote Last Christmas and he was convinced it was going to be a Christmas #1, and then Band Aid contacted him to help them with that song the same year, and he was like, "Fuck!" He knew immediately that he'd lost it to Band Aid. Like, it's so well done, which is nice because this year it was Christmas #1 all these years later. I really liked the Haunted Mansion movie, which I was fortunate enough to go to the.
I think you're just being biased on that one.
No, I was fortunate to go to the premiere with a lovely friend of ours who took me, so I'm very grateful for that because I liked that. And I've watched that twice since. It's actually my second most watched film this year, so yeah, I really liked that as well. And there's probably loads more, but I can't really remember any.
Well, the fact that one of them isn't on your honourable mention means I definitely know what #1 is.
Yeah, I think you do. My #1, to the surprise of no one, is a film that I was most excited for going into the year. Even above Oppenheimer and Barbie, above Barbenheimer, there was one film which I've been waiting for fucking years, because they first spoke about it a few years ago, and this was before. I mean, I'll give it away who did it, but before The Irishman, they spoke about this movie and they spoke about the stars and the fact that they'd be two of the greatest actors of all time starring in a movie as adults together for the very first time. And that is Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese, which I fucking loved. Like, the biggest compliment I give this film.
I said I still haven't seen it, so I'm going to let you gush for a moment.
Yeah, the biggest compliment I can give about this film is it's over 3 hours long. And I said to Bernie when we watched it in the IMAX, it felt like 90 minutes. Like, it just whipped by for me. I know a lot of people disagree with that. Some people have said it's too long. But I say let Martin Scorsese spend as much time as he wants making a fucking film, because he's a master at the craft. It's a completely different Leo performance to anything I've ever seen, but it was really well done. De Niro, again, he's always top notch. I love that man so much. Like, it upsets me how old he is these days, because I know we're not getting many more top performances like this, but he's really good in this. The standout is Lily Gladstone, who plays Molly Burkhart, Leonardo DiCaprio's character's wife, and she's the Native American who's like at the center of all these like crimes that are happening to her family and the people around her. And Lily Gladstone's performance is absolutely exceptional. Like, if she's not at least nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, I imagine it'll be Best Supporting. It won't be main. But if she's not even nominated, I'll be shocked, because she is absolutely insane. The music's incredible. The action scenes, while not as extravagant as we've seen in the past, because of the time period, it's not the same sort of like gun shootout explosions that we've seen from Scorsese before, but it's all so well done. The cinematography and like the way it's shot, the land, it all looks beautiful. Like, I can't wait to rewatch this one. And I probably will. I mean, I know it's long, but I will probably rewatch this several times, like almost immediately after it is made available on streaming. Because it's on Apple now, but you've got to pay for it right now. So,
okay.
But fuck me, is it good? I'm not giving anything away. Brendan Fraser comes in for one of the wildest cameos you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, really? I didn't even.
He comes in and he's just fucking firing off all cylinders. Like, it's completely different to the rest of the movie. Like, everyone's quite subdued. He comes in, guns blazing, like he's shouting and stuff. It's wild, but I love him, so I accept it. Jesse Plemons great. Just the entire cast is fantastic, and I love Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, love it. Love Martin Scorsese, and having built this legacy where he's made so many films with De Niro, and then after so long, he switched and started making films with Leo, and now he's brought it together to make one with both of them. It didn't disappoint. It was worth the hype and the wait, and yeah, I love it. And you need to watch it.
I'm going to as soon as I can. I'm gutted that I missed it in the IMAX. I really wanted to watch it in there. Completely just didn't get time. But yeah, I will 100% be watching it. I know how much you love it because you were not shut up talking about it every time I talk to you. But yeah,
a poster as well somewhere.
So I'll be watching that at some point. Probably not going to pay for it, but I'll watch it when it comes to that proper full streaming rather than paid streaming. But yeah, it's one of them that I know is going to be good because, well, I trust your opinion, and everybody else has said it's good, so I'm sure it's going to be up there. But I'll get around to it. Can you guess my number one?
Yeah, I can. As it was your most watched film of the year.
I fucking loved it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. I've always been a Turtles kid. I love the original movie. Grown up with the Turtles, so always loved them anyway. But this for Turtles did what Spider-Verse did for Spider-Man a couple of years ago, and that's why it's a lot higher than Across the Spider-Verse, is because this feels like something completely new for that franchise. And the art style, whereas Spider-Verse went like crazy and like kinetic and fast, this one has made things like, it feels like a 90s underground comic book. It's ugly to look at times, but beautiful at the same time. It's rough. It feels hand drawn. It's a really strange art style that I can't explain. You just kind of have to see. The action in it is, there's one scene in it in particular that really, really is probably one of the best action scenes. And I'm not just saying it because I love the Turtles, but it's one of the best action scenes of all this year, including stuff from John Wick. And you know how I felt about John Wick. It's a lot of comedy. It's a lot of heart. Jackie Chan as Splinter, actual teenagers as the Ninja Turtles. It's got a massive star-studded cast with like Paul Rudd, John Cena, Seth Rogen. massive cast, and again doesn't take away anything from the story by having all these different cast members in. Really funny, really full of heart, beautiful to look at, great soundtrack, and again opened up for more to come. And it's one of them where I want more. As soon as it finished, I was like, I either need to watch this again or I need the sequel to be released tomorrow, because it's fucking amazing. I talked about most of it in the last episode, but absolutely love this movie. I think it being number one is a combination of finally getting a good movie, because obviously we had the Michael Bay movies, we've had kind of subpar movies since the first one in the 90s. Finally getting a really good movie that like does that Spider-Verse kind of humor, but also has the Turtles at heart and leans more into the mutants and the different creatures of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe than just having Shredder again, because he's not in it. So, and that plays for a lot of like interesting new things. And then it kind of ends with a different take on the Turtles, which has never been seen before, which opens up a lot of new doors. So really looking forward to that. But yeah, it's my most watched film of the year. I've rewatched it more times than any other film this year, and I could go and put it on now and watch it, and then wake up and watch it again tomorrow. I absolutely love it. So that's why it's my number one of the year. Two very different number ones of the year, though.
Yeah, they couldn't be more different at all. But like I said in the last episode, I used to love the Turtles, so I do plan on watching that movie, but I haven't yet. But yeah, it's not a bad shout. I mean, I shouldn't have expected it really, because you did say it was your most watched, so that makes sense that it would be your favourite. But yeah, some good lists there. We crossed on 4. We got the prediction right.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Well, we would have got 5 if you remembered The Whale came out this year.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, even my list might have been very different if I realised The Whale came out, because then I'd have also remembered Fabelmans and Babylon, and I think at least one of them would definitely have been in my list, because I love both those movies.
Fabelmans, really enjoyed Fabelmans.
Yeah. Have you watched Babylon?
Not yet.
No, that's incredible as well. That's worth watching. But yeah, some good lists there. Randomly, because I've just thought of this now, I can't really remember too much that's coming out next year, in 2024. So I'm not going to ask for many. But is there one film you're looking forward to?
Sorry. Did I shout that too loud? Ghostbusters.
Is it? Is that the one you're
Yeah,
most looking forward
that's
to?
the one. That and Doom Part 2. They're the two. But Ghostbusters is, yeah, I can't wait for that. The fact that he got taken away from me this year kills me inside. But I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that'll be good because I quite liked the Afterlife one. That was really well done, and it looks like they're actually going to play a bigger role in this one, the original cast.
Yeah, it looks like they're coming back and having it a bit more than just the ending. So hoping they don't try and kill anybody off.
Oh God, yeah, fuck that.
Bill Murray, he'll be the first one to go.
Fuck, don't say that. That's my goal. Not Frank Cross. But...
What about for you? What's your number one for next year? This year?
I mean, it's quite bad because my mind's gone blank of anything that's coming out. So I'm going to go with the one. What?
You asked me the question.
You know, but I can only think of one, which is why I said name one and not.
Okay.
Because I can only name you one because I can't remember anything else that's coming out. But the Iron Claw for me, which is out in America right now, and we get it I think February. I am fucking hyped. I know I'm going to cry like a bitch, because it's obviously a true story based on the Von Erich family. So I already know a lot of what to expect. But I've even so many good things about it from like critics in America. Apparently Zac Efron's fantastic, and I love me some Zac. Always do. Can never go wrong with Mr. Efron. So yeah, I am looking forward to the Iron Claw more than anything right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that too as well. To be fair, not really my type usually, but I watched the trailer for it the other day and it looks genuinely really good. So looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, me too. Well, that's another episode to end then. That's our 10 best movies of 2023.
First episode of 2024.
Yeah, 2024 is here. Hopefully, the list that we come up with at the end of this year is just as good. Just as good. Fingers crossed. I mean, there's no Scorsese coming.
I'll tell you now. Number one, Ghostbusters. Shit, I'll be blinded by the love.
So I can't, like I said, I can't remember what's coming out. So I just know it's just gonna be some random shit that I've never even heard of. It's gonna be on my top 10 this time next year.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see. We'll soon see. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you want to find us on social media, you can just follow the usernames underneath here when Nathan puts them, which I always remember now. And if you are watching on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Whereas if you're on the podcast like networks, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave us a nice review talking about. Oh yeah, give us 5 stars. I thought you were talking about your hand then.
Yeah, talk about 5 stars.
We're talking about your like. Yeah, give us a nice 5 stars because otherwise, don't bother. There's no point.
Yeah, what's the point?
But we hope you enjoyed that, and I'm not quite sure what we're doing next.
No, me neither, but we'll be back soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with another brand new episode.
Back to Thursday schedule.
Yeah, it's been a bit wild recently. We've been all over the place. But yeah, we'll figure it out off camera because we haven't actually discussed what's next because we love to plan ahead. But yeah, we shall see you soon. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Happy New Year. Hope 2024 is sick. And I hope you are glad 2023 is over.
I am. Bring on Ghostbusters.
Peace out.